Good morning. This is Dan Larson, and this is today's Quiet Echo. This Sunday is the day after the 4th of July. In my church, and in a good many others, it will be a day of fasting. The invitation came from the leaders of my faith a few months ago, and it is a simple one. On Sunday, the 5th of July, the day after this country turns 250 years old, we are asked to go without food for a time and to pray, not for our own church, not against anyone. We are asked to give thanks for religious freedom and to pray for it to be strengthened, in the words of the invitation, throughout the world. I have been sitting with the last phrase all week, throughout the world, for everyone. When I first read those words, I will be honest, they surprised me a little. It is a natural thing to pray for your own. It is a harder, higher thing to be asked to pray for the freedom of people who may never pray for yours. But the more I sat with it, the more right it seemed. A freedom you only want for yourself was never really freedom. It was just a preference, dressed up. It would be easy to misunderstand what this fast is. In a loud year in a country arguing about faith as much as this one does, you might expect a church to gather its people and pray for its own advantage, to ask God to favor our side of the argument. It is not what we were asked to do. We were asked to be grateful, and we were asked to pray for a freedom we do not want only for ourselves. Here is something I believe, standing where I stand. Religious freedom is not a possession you keep by holding it tighter. It is a possession you keep by handing it to your neighbor. The moment you decide it belongs to people like you and not to people unlike you, it stops being freedom and becomes privilege. And privilege can be taken back. My own people know the far side of this. Not so long ago, my church was driven from state to state. In one state, the governor put in writing an order to drive us out, or worse. The order stood on the books for a very long time. People who have been the stranger do not forget what the stranger needs. We need it, and so does everyone. I have sat, over the years, with people who came to this country because at home their faith could get them jailed, or worse. They do not take a quiet Sunday for granted the way the rest of us do. When one of them tells me he is simply grateful to walk into a building and worship without fear, I am reminded how rare and how new such a thing is in the long story of the world. A man in my faith's history said this better than I ever could. He said he was as ready to defend the rights of a Baptist or a Presbyterian or a good man of any other denomination as he was to defend his own. Because whatever will trample one man's conscience will come in time for every man's. Your freedom and your neighbor's are not two separate freedoms. They are one freedom, and it cannot be divided. This is why a fast and not a rally is the right way to mark this day. A rally is loud. A rally is aimed at someone. You gather your side, you raise your voice, you count your numbers, and you feel strong. A fast is none of those things. A fast is quiet. You do it alone, in your own house, where no one can see you do it. You get hungry. You get a little weak. And the hunger reminds you of something a strong man is always forgetting. You are not the source of your own blessings, and neither is your side. There is no crowd to a fast. There is no one keeping score. It is just you and your hunger and God, and a quiet you cannot fill with your own voice. It is very hard to be arrogant on an empty stomach. Maybe the emptiness is part of the point. You cannot fast in triumph. You can only fast in need. And a person praying from need, for a freedom he wants his neighbor to have every bit as much as himself, is standing in the only place from which freedom can be safely held. So this Sunday I will be hungry and I will pray. I will give thanks for the freedom to worship as I believe, in a country which has protected it. And I will pray for the same freedom to be kept and strengthened for people whose faith looks nothing at all like mine. The Catholic, the Muslim, the Jew, the neighbor down the road who believes nothing at all and would like to be left in peace about it. I want them to have what I have. If I do not want it for them, then I have not understood what I have. You do not have to fast to do this. You do not have to share my faith or hold any faith at all. But this Sunday, in whatever way is yours, be grateful for the freedom to believe as you choose. And then do the harder thing. Want it out loud for someone who does not believe as you do. Pray for their freedom the way you would pray for your own. You may find, as I have, it is not as easy as it sounds. It asks you to picture a specific face, someone whose beliefs trouble you or puzzle you or seem to you plainly mistaken. and to wish them the very thing you would fight to keep for yourself. Do it anyway. Something in you grows when you do. This is the whole of it. This is the fast. The front porch is open. This Sunday, many of your neighbors will fast and pray for religious freedom, including yours. If you join them in any way, the readers of the Cedar Valley News would like to hear about it. We are gathering to share our stories and keep company with respect and no party lines. Come sit with us. I will put the link in the show notes. This is Dan Larson, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.